Hello, this is Joanne Hewins from LoveToCreate.typepad.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm going to show you how to make this card. This is part of the Stamping Around the World blog hop for September. We have a tutorial that we offer a group of us from around the world, and we also do a blog hop. We use the same stamp set that we used in the tutorial, and I use this stamp set called Playful Penguins. This is new in the holiday catalog, and it is a fantastic set. I love penguins, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on this one. So let's get started. And the first thing that we're going to do is this background. And to do that, we're going to use a piece of Whisper White that is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to begin by making a mask. And for this, I'm going to bring in a pad of sticky notes. I'm going to get my stamp, and I'm going to use Memento Black, and I'm just going to ink up my stamp, and I'm going to stamp it on the sticky note. I'm going to make sure I get the sticky on here, and I'm just going to do it to the side like that, and that way it will get a lot of the sticky on there. Now, when you cut this out, you're going to cut it, you're not going to leave a border, you're just going to cut it right on the very edge. And I have one cut out here, ready to go. Now, what I do with these, I've got a couple here, and when I made the original card, I did others, and I just keep them in my stamp set. So these look pretty bad, but they've been used. So I'm just going to pull these out too, and that'll give me extras to have. Now this one, I just put the sticky on the head, and then I realized, well, I could do it all the way down the side, and it might stick a little bit better. So I'm going to take these mask, we call them, and use those to stamp the card. Now the important thing that you're going to need to remember is that you start at the bottom and you work up. It doesn't look like it would be that way, but it is. So what I'm going to do is ink up my penguin, and I'm using Memento Black, and I'm going to stamp this right in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp a couple more that are not going to touch this penguin. So I'm going to do one right in here. Then I'll do another one over this way. Okay, and now I'm going to begin using the mask. So what I'm going to do is just cover those up. And that way I can stamp around the penguin. So I'm going to, well, I'll go ahead and cover this one too. Okay, so those are all covered. And so I'll do some penguins that are behind here. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this up. Now I stamped this one so he didn't really overlap the other one so much. I think I'm going to bring in another mask for this one right here. So let's take those off and see what it's looking like. You can see that the penguins are looking like they're back behind each other. Okay. So I'm just going to build on that all the way up the card. So I'll add these masks back on. Didn't really need to take those off. I just wanted you to see. And I'll add another row of the penguins. And I might just go ahead and cover him up too. So it really does help. I did the other card with only 3 masks, but it really does help to have quite a few. And then you can also move them around as needed. You do have to be careful because you're going to get probably some of this black on your hands. So all I'm doing is just kind of working my way up the card and trying to make sure that where I'm stamping that it's covered. And I've about got it. And hopefully this will about fill that up. Okay, so let me pull off my mask, and I will put those back in my case and probably use them again. As long as they keep their sticky, it doesn't really matter what they look like. And there's my card with my group of penguins in there. Now I'm going to have on the inside of this card another penguin that's the same one. So I'm going to go ahead while I have this stamp here and ink him up for the inside. And then you don't want him just floating around in space. So I'm going to pull in some gray granite, and the stamp set has a little bit of ground, and we can stamp him on there. So I've got him standing there on a little bit of gray granite. And while I'm working on the inside, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp the saying, and this is from the penguin stamp set, Playful Penguins. Nothing warms the heart quite like a good friend. So I'm going to ink that up, and it's going to go right in here. Let's hope it's straight. Okay, not bad. So that's the inside of our card. So I'm going to bring in the base. This is 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4, and now I'm going to kind of match my corners. And I'll use my bone folder to burnish that fold. And I'm just going to bring in some glue and go ahead and put that inside in there. You can see masking like that and putting the big group of penguins together really isn't that hard to do. So I suggest you try it if you haven't before. Okay, so here's my inside, and I think I'll just go ahead and glue on the front part, and we'll get ready to do our penguin that goes on the front. Okay, and I'm going to change and use this penguin for the little front part of the card here. So let me ink him up again in the Memento Black. And sometimes for a big stamp like this, I just like to turn it this way and ink it. I just feel like it does a little bit better. And I'm going to ink him right here in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the gray granite again and give him a little bit of ground to stand on. And then we are going to cut this out with our die cutting machine. We're going to be using the Stitched Shapes dies, and we're using the second to the largest. So let me set this out of the way and some of this other stuff out of the way, and we will cut that out. Okay, I've got my Big Shot in here, and I've got just the Big Shot platform, the thin die adapter, a clear plate. I'm going to put down my penguin and this oval shape, another clear plate, and we'll just roll that through. I'm just going to roll it back to get it on this side. And that's all the cutting that we need to do. So let me move that back out of the way. Okay. So on my scrap, or on a scrap, I'm going to bring in the scarf and the hat that are part of the set, and I'm going to stamp that in real red. And there isn't a die to cut this out. What you'll have to do is just fussy cut, but it really isn't that hard to do. So you would just stamp those and cut those out. Now I went ahead and cut them out prior to the video to save just a little bit of time. So there they are, and I'm going to glue those onto the penguin. Okay, so the scarf. Hard for me to pick stuff up sometimes. And then the little hat. Excuse me just a second. I'm going to see if I can pull this up and put it down just a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, and then this is going to go on our card with dimensionals. So here's the sample. Let me bring this in. And so we'll put dimensionals on the back of this. And then that's just going to leave the saying that we need to work on. And the saying is also from the Playful Penguins, Merriest Wishes. I'm going to bring back my scrap and stamp that in real red. And then I'm going to fussy cut around that. There they are. Isn't it funny how you misplace stuff right underneath, right where you can see it just about, and it's still hard to find. And then I'm going to just kind of cut around these sayings. however you want. And then what I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue on this side, because that's going to cover up or be on the oval. And then I'm going to put a dimensional on this side. Okay. And keep trying to put it on what I've already done. And so that's going to go there. And the card is done. So that you can see that's pretty easy. The inside, again, nothing warms the heart quite like a good friend. And then here he is. And you could also add the hat and the scarf on the inside as well. That would be really cute too. All right, thank you so much for joining me. If you need supplies to make your penguin card, please go to lovetocreate.typepad.com if you're in the United States. I would love to help you out. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.